Hello everyone. My name is Stefan from the Reutlingen University and I have been a PhD student since the 1st of January 2019. Further authors of this papers are my supervisor Jürgen Munch, who is also from the Reutlingen University, and Dominic Lang from the company Robert Bosch. In the next 15 minutes I will discuss the findings of our Grey Literature Review that aim to identify processes and principles for product road mapping that are suitable for the operation in a dynamic and uncertain market environment. First of all, I will start with a quote from Marty Kagan. Mr. Kagan is a partner at the Silicon Valley Product Group and he said, "I see typical product roadmaps as the source of so much waste in product teams." What does Mr. Kagan mean by that statement? Kagan means that nowadays we can observe that the environment for creating new products, services and business models are getting increasingly complex. The problem is that due to the high uncertainty in a dynamic market environment, it is almost impossible to predict which products, features or services will satisfy the needs of the customers, especially in the long-time horizon. One consequence of this situation is that products, services and features are developed that are not or only seldom used. In order to plan the future product portfolio, usually product roadmaps are used in practice. Product roadmaps are strategic communications tools that map out the vision and direction of a company and the work that is required to get there. It should be noted that a product roadmap is not a release plan, nor a project plan, nor a product backlog. In contrast to the strategic product roadmap that provides stabilization and orientation regarding the direction of the future product portfolio, product backlogs, release plans and project plans are tactical documents. In detail, the product backlog contains the outstanding work necessary to develop the product. A release plan is a concrete timetable, which capture and track the product planning for an upcoming release. In a similar way, a project plan shows every step necessary to complete a project. This document usually covers the next 3 to 6 months. Our previous study on the state of practice regarding product road mapping in Germany shows that the most companies are using a fixed time-based chart which provides a forecast for concrete planned products, features or services. However, feature-based roadmaps are too static, which makes it difficult to conduct adjustments that are necessary in a dynamic and uncertain market environment. Therefore, this approach is not suitable for the operation in a dynamic and uncertain market environment, but only works in a market environment that is predictable, stable and reliable, and where no frequent changes do not occur. Therefore, organizations are facing the challenge to provide agile product roadmaps in order to develop successful products in a dynamic and uncertain market environment. For this reason, the objective of our study was to gain a better understanding of modern product roadmapping practices, by identifying suitable processes for the creation and evolution of products roadmaps in dynamic and uncertain market environments. In order to reach this objective, we defined the following research question. Which processes are reported in the Grey literature to create and evolve a product roadmap in a dynamic and uncertain market environment? As first step, we assessed whether a Grey literature review is the suitable method for our study. For this purpose we used the checklist according to Garussi and collaborators, which consists of 7 questions. If one or more questions are answered positively, Garussi recommends the conduction of a GLR, otherwise a systematic literature review is more suitable. In our case, we conduct such a systematic literature review on the aspects of product road mapping in previous research. This study showed that the most scientific articles do not address product roadmaps operationally. In addition, the conduction of expert interviews shows that the topic product road mapping in a dynamic and uncertain market environment is highly relevant and of great interest for practitioners. This slide gives an overview of our study selection process. First, we defined a search string in an iterative brainstorming session and applied it to the Google search engine. After filtering out the duplicates, we applied the inclusion and exclusion criteria, first on the tile, then on the first paragraph and finally on the entire article. In addition to the search process, we conducted a snowballing process. This means, if there was a recommendation for further articles, we also considered these articles and applied our defined inclusion and exclusion criteria. After the application of the selection process, we obtained 170 relevant articles which address the main topic product road mapping. On this base, we have categorized the 170 articles according to 5 subject areas. This led to 32 relevant articles that deal with the topic product road mapping processes. In the following, I will discuss the most important aspects of creating a roadmap for a dynamic and uncertain market environment. First, a suitable process for creating a product roadmap for a dynamic and uncertain market environment should ensure that the planning level of the roadmap items is adequate to the time horizon. This means that the components of the roadmap should be more detailed the closer they are in time. The picture left describes a so-called feature-based roadmap. That means that all tasks are planned and worked out in detail for short, mid, and long-term timeframes. However, this approach does not offer flexibility and is therefore the wrong way to counteract the challenges of a dynamic and uncertain market environment. In the right picture, the detailing depends on the timeline. This means that short-term items are detailed, prioritized, estimated and validated. Mid-term items are under validation and the long-term view contains high-level topics. The target is to spend the least possible effort and therefore keep detailing only as high as required. That also means making decisions at the latest possible point in time in order to keep flexibility on the mid to long-term view, as well as to avoid waste. This also includes adjustments regarding the structure of the roadmap. For example, the replacement of a fixed time-based chart by a more flexible approach. An example therefore is a Kanban board with the 3 columns, now, next, and later. Moreover, in a dynamic and uncertain market environment, it is no longer effective and sustainable to think in outputs such as products or features. Therefore, a product roadmap should not only describe what will be built, but also why it should be built. This requires that the components of the roadmap are connected to themes or outcomes. In this context, a theme is defined as high-level customer or system needs. A roadmap format that consider an adequate level of item detailing based on the timeline, as well as the delivery of products, features or services based on customer and business value is the outcome-oriented approach. First, the process of creating an outcome-oriented roadmap starts with the decision of the product team which outcome should be tackled. In the next step, hypotheses are formulated by deriving possible solutions in order to satisfy the previously selected outcomes. Often prototypes or so-called minimum viable products are developed to support the conduction of experiments. In case the hypothesis is validated positively, the corresponding outputs are moved to the now column, and thus handed over to the product delivery. This ensures that only validated outputs enter the product backlog and are released for implementation. In case the hypothesis is validated negatively, the corresponding output must be reconsidered, and alternatives may have to be validated. This ensures that only validated outputs enter the product backlog and are released for implementation. It should be noted that product discovery and product delivery takes place in parallel. For example, in the first quarter the product delivery track implements those products that have already been successfully tested. Also in the first quarter, product discovery determines which features should be developed for the second quarter, as well as which outcomes should be defined for the long term. Therefore, the conduction of product discovery activities are essential to develop successful products in dynamic and uncertain market environments. Concrete examples of product discovery activities are the conduction of interviews with customers, forming customer focus groups, or the iterative development of a prototype. Moreover, a suitable product roadmapping process should ensure that all relevant stakeholders are aligned around the product roadmap. Alignment specifies how good the stakeholder coverage is, how deep they are involved in the roadmapping process, and how well they understand their respective roles. Moreover, alignment is extremely important to ensure that all product development activities contribute to the achievement of the goals of the company. In order to gain alignment, we identified the following activities. First, the creation of a central product roadmap which allows to derive different representations for each stakeholder. For example, the product management department needs different information than the department engineering. Therefore, each department requires their own roadmap, which is coordinated with the other departments and contributes to the achievement of the goals of the company. Second, the conduction of co-creation workshops is an interactive event with all relevant stakeholders. And last but not least, the establishment of a central and cross-functional committee that is responsible for the creation and handling of the product roadmap. This slide presents the learnings from our Gray literature review. First, an adequate level of item detailing and the replacement of a fixed time-based chart makes the roadmap more agile to react to the frequent changes in a dynamic and uncertain market environment. Outputs should be derived from outcomes in order to develop products, features and services that delivers value to the customer and the business. Moreover, the seamless integration of discovery activities in the product development process helps to avoid that features are built that nobody wants or needs. Last but not least, the product roadmap does not fulfill its purpose without alignment from the key stakeholders. Therefore, a process should be in place in order to create a central roadmap, which allows deriving different representations for each stakeholder. However, the question remains as to where a company should start improve its product roadmapping practice. The answer of this question is that as first step, companies have to assess their current product roadmapping capabilities in order to better understand how to improve their practices and how to switch to a new approach. For this reason, the authors developed the product roadmap self-assessment tool called DEEP. DEEP stands for the principles deliver value, embrace learning, evolve with change, and prioritize ruthlessly. Overall, the model consists of 9 dimensions. Each dimension represents a relevant aspect for the success of product roadmapping in a dynamic and uncertain market environment. Furthermore, we decided to use 5 stages for each dimension that represent some kind of increase of maturation. In order to reflect this maturation, we defined a score for each stage. How you can see there is some kind of increase of maturity from left to the right. The idea of such a scoring is that practices are comparable with respect to their maturity. As a result, a company can perform a self-assessment by asking the questions and selecting the applicable stages for each dimension and summing up the corresponding score. This slide presents the different levels after summing up the points of the selected 9 dimensions. The minimum score that can be reached is 9 points, the maximum is 100. If a company is on level 1 or 2, we recommend to conduct a complete reset of the road mapping process. If a company is on level 3 or higher, we recommend improving the road mapping practices step by step. This slide presents also the levels of the DEEP model, but with the focus on the meanings of the levels. In simple words, the higher the level, the more orientation and confidence, as well as delivering value to the customer and the business the roadmap takes into account. However, currently the company does not receive any recommendation as to which measures should be implemented in order to reach a higher level. In order to guide companies on which measures lead to an improvement of their product road mapping practices, we will develop a transformation model. In more detail, each level is assigned to a set of key practices in order to reach a higher level. Consequently, a company can improve its current product road mapping level by implementing the proposed key practices in its organizational context. Last but not least, this slides discuss the relevance of a high score. The DEEP Product Roadmap Self-Assessment Tool aims to raising the odds of product success. Therefore, a high score indicates a higher probability of product success. But having a high score does not guarantee product success and vice versa. Finally, matching to the DEEP model, I will end with the following quote. "The first step to growth is the ability to make an honest assessment of where you currently are." Thank you very much for your attention. In the case of any questions, please do not hesitate to send me an email to stefan.treeflinger@reutlingen-university.de.